So with that, they stepped down from their cauldron podium and headed off into the transforming room, where they shouted as loud as they could, "Lickety-splickety!" As loud as they could. "Lickety-splickety! Spin away! Turn us into knights today!" And with that, whoosh, magically, it took a little bit longer than we expected, of course. Transformed into brave knights! Tatum said, "Look at us." Alex said, "We look cool." She said, "Now we need to train." "Now we need to train." "But who will train us?" Alex said, "The knights." "Perfect." So they headed over to the castle, where 3 brave knights would practice for the tournament. The knights got to their posts, and Lady Parker shouted, "Draw your bows!" They drew their bows, and then she shouted, "Fire!" And they fired. And the 2 wizards said, "Well done!" Good. And Sir Colin walked over to them. He said, "Who are you?" Okay. Sir Drew walked over and said, "Who are you?" And Lady Tatum said, "We're 2 brave knights. We're here to compete in the tournament." Lady Parker walked over and said, "I've never seen you before." Alex said, "We're new." She said, "Well, do you want a shot?" And they said, "Sure." So they both got to their post in front, and the knights watched. Lady Tatum said, "We'll throw in a little magic." So Lady Parker shouted, "Draw your bows!" They drew their bows, and then she shouted, "Fire!" And they shot their arrows. The knights applauded. Sir Drew said, "Well done." And Sir Colin said, "Good job." Good job. And Lady Parker said, "This is going to be some stiff competition." So they waved goodbye, and the 2 wizards headed out into the forest. Sir Alex said, "I can't believe it. They bought it." Lady Tatum said, "We really pulled it off." Now some water fairies who lived in the forest as well happened to be passing by and stopped to listen to the wizards. Lady Tatum said, "They completely thought we were knights." And Sir Alex said, "They never knew that we're really wizards." And they stood still for just a moment. And Lady Tatum said, "We're going to win that tournament. We can use magic to compete." The 2 water fairies were shocked when they heard this news. They jumped up. And Sophia said, "I can't believe it." And she said really loudly, "They're cheating." And Angie said, "This is terrible. We've got to do something." So they walked over to the wizards. They stomped up there. They were really mad. And Angie said, "Excuse me." The wizard turned around and said, "Yes?" She said, "We heard what you